you want to save money on your trading card purchases, we have a promo link over at 50cards.shop. Enter the promo code ATNIGHT to get 5% off your order. Hey everybody, and Happy New Year. Welcome to Nexus at Night, your weekly-ish Vanguard podcast. I'm Atlas.
I'm Matt.
I'm Root Beer.
I got wicked bed heads. That's why the beanie's on, looking like Slim
I
Shady.
have that, and I don't have a beanie on because I do not care.
Okay.
I look like Elon Musk pre-hair transplant. It's fine.
Oh God! Oh, that's so great.
I don't know. I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
He'll be all right.
So there's a new Banlist. We wanted to wait until it came out to drop the episode. So you're hearing this on the Friday, probably in the middle of the day.
Or right after we recorded it.
Right after because I'm going to finish it, I'm going to edit it, and then I'm putting it up immediately.
Oh, yeah.
So why don't we take a look here? Because Bushi had said it was coming on the 30th. It's the 30th. And
True.
Yeah, so Fighters Rules updated, effective from January 27th. So you got a little bit less than a month.
These were the hits that happened in
Japan,
or these were the unhits that happened in the JP format, right?
Yes.
So these is probably the least surprising part. The unrestricted Dark Strain helps out Keter or Bastion specifically, really.
Mm-hmm.
But in a time when Bastion probably doesn't need the help, or probably more needs it. Since Bastion is no longer like the threat it once was. So yeah, no, I think these are good on hits, and I think the same is true for Magnolia.
Yeah, so Magnolia and Inlet Pulse are now able to be used in the same deck. Magnolia Elder, sorry, grade 4.
Yeah, which we recorded a video about that, and I forgot to put it up, so maybe I'll just put it out alongside this podcast episode.
Go for it, man. So yeah, we already talked about this when this dropped in Japan, and we're like, yeah, good, all right. So the thing we're excited for is what they did for V and Premium, because let's be honest, Steam Maiden needed a good bonk on the head. And,
sure did.
Yep.
Premium's okay, but maybe could do with some.
I would like to see a little few changes. All right, so what do we got in V Premium here? It's the Piano Man.
Yes, they restricted the Piano Man.
This makes sense.
Amusements Colossus for people who are like, I don't know what the Piano Man is. I don't know what it looks like.
It's basically a +3. That's all you need to think about the card. This card is probably worth hitting, I think. But
yeah,
does this do enough to kind of shove off Steam Maiden from being the best?
What do you mean by +3?
I mean, it's just a big card.
Because so on play you bind a card from hand, and then for the rest of the turn, your opponent has to use 2 or more cards to guard.
Your opponent is under a battle door.
Your opponent's just so your opponent's discarding like a bunch more cards because you attack a billion times, right?
Oh, that kind of plus. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Like your opponent has to like basically just shove a billion cards on the table when this card's active.
Not the Yu-Gi-Oh kind of plus.
Sorry. So, the symmetric other way. It just demands so much out of your opponent already. This card probably needs to go. I actually think that Steam Maiden is probably still the best deck.
Probably.
Because
this deck does so much more.
Yeah.
They still got insane multi-attacks and a really good plus engine. I think they'll be fine.
Yeah. I think this is just making the deck like reasonable, where now you can actually guard with a card if you can.
Yeah, getting triggers on damage a lot bigger now, that kind of thing. Yeah, it's a fine hit. It's the only deck that really needed to be touched in V. So not too surprising there.
Because it was tier 0, and we get to find out the results of that in a month at Worlds.
I suspect that Steam Maiden will still be it.
Yeah, same. I think Steam Maiden's probably still the best deck. Like, this was the hit I expected. I didn't think they were going to hit the grade 2 and the cat, just because those were the most recent ones, and this card is pretty old, so they can afford to just get rid of it.
I would like to have seen another hit on here for Steam Maiden, personally.
I think it's just because it was the easiest thing to touch without having to worry about the complications, right? Where if you go, well, if I hit the cat, then that's going to affect the chick on the motorcycle or whatever. Whereas this is like, this is the thing that is their main win condition. So just hit that and go from there if it continues to be a problem.
It's definitely like the safest hit, if that makes sense. But V is kind of gets so little support that it's kind of like this is just how it's going to be for a while.
Yeah, it's going to V for a while.
Please.
Yeah, it's like because Steam Maidens were so dominant, it's hard to see if there was anything else in the format that was a problem because it just wasn't being played, even if it was.
Yeah, could be true, but who knows?
And for people who are like, well, you have to completely kill Steam Maiden. I'm like, what a ban list should do is like balance the format. It doesn't have to burn a deck to the ground unless.
But if you have to burn it to the ground to balance the format, you just do it.
Yeah, but
the goal is to increase fun.
Yeah. So this seems like a prudent decision. And then if there's more problems, then do it again.
Yeah.
What happens?
It'll just be like the last time Gear Chronicle was meta. They'll hit TikTok worker to 1, it won't do anything. So they'll hit Uratar to 1, that still didn't do anything. And then I think after the third time, they finally banned Mellum. Or they hit it to 1.
Yeah.
That was a funny time.
That's the problem with a deck that just searches whatever it wants. You can't be like, putting this to 1 will make it so they, can't find it as easily. I'm like, well,
yeah. But guys. Like, this was also at the time where Bushi just didn't ban cards.
That was the other thing. So yeah, no Piano Man, but for premium, still no Piano Man. They
that's a weird hit in premium.
Because Steam Maiden was also just good in premium.
Yeah, but it's like I don't know.
It kind of reminds me of the Percival hit, where in the Percival hit it's the opposite, right? Where they're like, you can't use it in V, you can keep it in premium. But I'm surprised they didn't just do that. Like hit it in V, and then like you can still keep your your Piano Colossus, but only in premium. Sorry, guys. But they hit it here too, which is welcome. I'm happy to see that. Mostly because I think Bushiroad needs to learn the lesson that Konami learned with not once per turn skills, which is don't have blanket wide guard restrict. Don't like hope on damp, this sort of thing. It's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah,
and I think
feel like
this
is an area of card blanket wide like restrictions is probably just an area of card design that we just shouldn't have in the game. Like there's very little counterplay to begin with. Like VFD, for as oppressive it was in Yu-Gi-Oh, at least you could like try to negate it before it could get its effect off. Like you can't do that in Vanguard.
Yeah, so they're learning their lesson here again, and I think maybe that will teach them in the future for like cards to not do for the rest of the turn. If it's for this battle, this card's attack, fine, go for it. But the other thing is that a lot of people were complaining about Narukami, mostly because it managed to dodge a bunch of ban lists one after the other, and is pretty, it's pretty much the best deck in the format at the moment.
I would say this format is the best deck just because it has very consistent representation. Like it was just the easiest one to pilot.
25% of the tops ish. And what they did was they put Stunverse to 1.
Like that's fine.
It's fine.
I think you just move to playing Sweep Command with Exterminate.
Yeah, I don't even think people have been complaining a lot this morning about Naru, and so I'm just like kind of don't feel bad for them. But I'm really if this makes people play less Naru, I'm all for that.
Yeah,
sure.
His hit's a little weird, but I mean it's not weird in the sense like if you think about like what we've been saying all year. It's just weird that it like actually happened. I think
that they did something, or
yeah, that was this specifically, right?
Yeah,
I just kind of didn't expect them to hit Sunburst to 1.
Yeah, I was expecting them to ban Stunverse. I didn't think they'd hit it to 1.
I didn't think they wouldn't need to, because it's not the first Stunverse that kills you; it's the second. Or just doing Stunverse on top.
Yeah,
of
but just
Vowing
having
Saber.
the option for stride, I think, was kind of the thought. Is like, you know, there's basically like they get one or the other,
right?
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I think it's probably fine. It's not a great list. I think there's probably some more annoying shit that's not here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it's something.
I think if they wanted to deal with Narukami in terms of like the annoying part, I think like putting Vowing Saber to 1 would have been the better one to hit, just because it like
people would just play
so
Vanquisher,
quickly, which is fine. Vanquisher is easier to deal with.
Like, I mean, like, I feel like Stunverse is just the more obvious problem. You play it across multiple variants of the deck. It's very powerful.
Sure.
You know, you wipe the board, you wipe the drop zone, which affects a lot of deck. You rip cards out of your hand. Like, I don't know how you look at that and conclude Vowing Saber was the problem. Vowing Saber is useless if you can't use Stunverse.
Yeah. I think Stunverse is like kind of the only hit as well. But I just thought they would let Premium rock or something. I guess is my thought.
I mean,
it didn't need as much as V did, and I'm not complaining. So
yeah, I'm not really upset about the Naru hit, especially if it makes Naru a lot less popular. It makes Spikes quite a bit better, which I am for.
Do you think that's going to be the new thing that everyone complains about?
I think Spike's pretty good.
Yeah. Spike's pretty good, but like people don't like Spike Brothers, and it's hard to pilot.
That's true.
It did get first at Anaheim, so.
But the deck is quite rewarding. You can get messed up if like it requires a lot of planning for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But I don't think the deck is like too hard. The combo lines are not the hard part of that deck, by the way. The hard part of that deck is playing up to grade 3 and on grade 3.
I see.
Like just like the first 3 turns, you have to navigate those properly. You can't lose too much, or give your opponent too much.
Do you think this is going to like? What do you think would change in terms of worlds? Do you think there's going to be like less snark, or are they just going to switch to Sweep Command?
Like, I think Sweep Command variants were already becoming more popular towards the end of the year. I was looking on Fuzzy Paradox's website, and like towards the end, you would start seeing like at the beginning in like October, you would see mostly like Descendant and Vowing Saber, and then closer to November, you started seeing variants that played both Sweep and Vowing Saber. Which is like kind of hedging your bets. If you get Sweep Command, you just go into Exterminate, and if you get Vowing Saber, depending on what your opponent's board is like, you could do either one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I do think people will just start moving towards Sweep Command because, like, that card just says on ride, retire 2 or bind 2 from your opponent's front row.
And then that's plus 20k to the front.
And draw 2.
And draw 2.
And the only downside to Sweep Command is you have to keep rewriting it to get value out of Exterminate, but that's where like having one Stunverse, like the deck is still okay, although Stunverse on Sweep Command kind of sucks because you don't gain any power.
Right. Guys, you're forgetting the key here. What if Dungaree?
Stop.
I have seen a annoying number of variants that play like 3 Sweep Command, 4 Vowing Saber, 2 Dungarees.
What?
Yeah, no, like if you look on Fuzzy Paradox's website, around like November, there are just a bunch of decks that played like just played like all boss units for some reason. They had like Vowing Saber, Sweep Command, and just a couple copies of Dungaree.
This reminds me of back in Limit Break era when I would play Eradicators, but sorry. He's saying they just played like every boss.
I didn't hear what you said.
Who are you talking to?
To Matt.
Okay.
Reminds you of what?
It reminds me of the time in Limit Break era where I played Eradicator, but played like one of each of the grade 3s. So I had like one Bowing Sword Break Ride. I had like the only card I had multiple of was like Gauntlet Buster.
Mm-hmm.
I played like one Bowing Sword Break Ride, like one Bowing Sword Reverse, like one Sweep Command.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's also the variants that play like Sweep Command, Descended, and Gauntlet Buster.
Hell yeah.
Just someone kill me. That's
Gauntlet Buster is definitely a card that is, I really hope my opponent doesn't have a PG. One of those cards.
Yep.
If they do,
you are very, very sad right now.
I remember back when Gauntlet Buster was like the thing to be doing. People were like,
kind of, yeah.
People would be like, oh, you'd open your starting hand and see 2 PGs, and you're like, I can't lose. Pretty good.
What, like early V or?
Yeah,
that was like mid V.
Yeah, like early mid V, kind of somewhere in there.
Yeah,
but it was pretty funny because you were just like, I have 2 PGs, I win. We did it.
Yeah. And then Dote was released at around the same time, but Dote was also terrible when it first released.
Yeah. Not ideal.
Sorry, I'm looking at some of these lists. I want to find the mythical I have everything grade 3 lineups here. I see Gauntlet Buster, I see Descendant, I see Sweep Command. All right. I assume the Gauntlet Buster so you can ride it and just get the drop on your opponent like mid-turn, right?
Yep. Just, if they make an Excel circle and do something, just 4 crit, good luck. Who knows?
That's another thing that I hated playing against what's it called? Okay, here, 4 Sweep Command, 3 Valiant Saber reverse. I hated playing against Narukami in the sense that, like, if you rewrite your grade 3, it's bad for you because they're like, oh, good, another Excel circle that you have +10 to my exterminate or whatever the fuck. Like,
yeah,
it was infuriating. Why can't I get a draw off of my Rocket Hamadon?
Just don't make 8,000
Excel circles.
Excel circles. Yeah. Just make 8,000 force markers instead.
There you go. That's the way to do it.
Valiant Saber and Dungaree. Where's the one that played like every boss unit? I know it existed. I was just looking at it earlier.
I was thinking about like what people were clamoring for on the Twitters, on the Facebook groups, on Reddit, etc. For ban lists and how our opinions of ban lists and what we want happens in Vanguard, because I feel like we're a lot more whiny than Yu-Gi-Oh! For example.
Definitely. I was like just looking at a tweet thread where someone was talking about how like they wanted more reactionary ban lists out of Bushi Road instead of the scheduled ones we had, and I'm like, no.
Why? No, you don't want that.
I don't want to go back to G era where they released like 3 ban lists in a row because they didn't do a good job the first time.
That's the thing with, okay, so when you have a scheduled like ban list on X amount of months, it's something to look forward to. Oh, I'm getting my ass kicked by this deck. It's, dominating my locals or whatever. September is a couple months away. It's coming, right? Instead of being like, I wonder if Bushiroad will come down from on high and explain that they fucked up.
Yeah.
And then tell you that we will fix it and then don't fix it. But if you have the like scheduled thing, it's easier to wait because it's coming, A, and B, just because something is good does not mean it needs to be banned immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like, okay, I lost my train of thought there.
Sorry.
I think I was going something along a similar route where like, when it's scheduled, that there's going to be a certain set of data. I remember now, like sometimes it can feel like the ban list is outdated because like things will change in the margins between ban lists. So like for a month, you'll have like a really good deck. This happened with the October ban list where they banned like Percival, Coutier, and all of that stuff, where it felt like a reaction to the previous format because a new set of support dropped in between that ban list. So the data got really skewed.
Right. Okay.
So like that can lead to problems where like the way they release products compared to how they release like actual ban lists just means like sometimes ban lists are outdated when they release.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be a problem with scheduled ban lists, but I also don't like reactionary ban lists where it's like sometimes we'll have 3 ban lists, month after month, and sometimes we'll go like 6-7 months without anything because Bushiro decided not to for whatever reason.
Do it like a dentist appointment, right? You see your dentist like 2 or 3 times a year.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it that way, right?
Yeah.
Every 4 months you get a ban list. Every 6 months you get a ban list.
That is what I think. That is basically what we're getting now because they just release them alongside the product streams. I doubt the one we get around March or whatever the next product stream is going to be very impactful simply because there won't be any tournaments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and there's going to be a lot of new products coming out.
Right.
Also, I found the list with all the boss units.
Oh, God. What is it?
So the deck code is 8STG.
8STG.
So yeah, that's just the one that has like 4 vowing, 3 sweep command, 2 dungarees.
Load, you piece of shit.
No.
Refuse.
Oh my God. That is correct. That is indeed what he described. Wow.
Yep.
Amazing. The rest of it seems pretty on point.
Like the rest of it is pretty normal. It's just they're playing like two Pants Dragon in addition to like your regular Eradicator bosses, and that's kind of funny.
Yep. Oh my God. Dundray is such a weird card.
TIE Fighter was on Dungaree in Premium.
That's true, he was. I mean, he did about as well as the rest of us, but oh well.
Yeah, Dungaree's funny.
It is funny.
It is. Like V Dungaree especially.
Well, especially because it makes Sanctitude free even without striding.
Yes,
because it's got triple drive. Rip. I don't know. I didn't really have much to say. Like that's the ban list. I think it was good but not great.
Yeah. What else were people saying? Were people saying should have been on here?
I think there were some like principal bans that people wanted, like Gridora, just because the card is annoying, even if it isn't good right now.
Yeah, or like Overtrigger.
Oh yeah, Overtrigger. We should always just mention that the Overtrigger has not been banned, both to annoy people who don't like hearing that, but also because ban the Overtrigger.
True.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah, that shit's annoying.
Trying to see like if there are any. Let's see, Ty Smith going full troll as usual.
Actual malding for 3 hours that Stunburst got put to 1 actually. Like actually malding. And then he'll be like, I wasn't malding, and you're like, it's like that drill tweet of like, I'm not mad. Please don't put in the newspaper that I got mad.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it was.
What's a drill tweet?
What, you don't know drill?
Oh, like the person. Sorry, yeah, I thought you meant like account. Okay, I thought you meant like a type of tweet. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
From drill.
No. God damn it.
You know, I regret nothing.
Yeah, sure. Whatever.
But yeah, there was a lot of malding going on.
Yeah.
Saying like, I'm not going to play in Worlds now. And you're like,
sure.
What?
Sure.
And you're like, but I'm still going to go. I'm like, so you're
how about give me your invite? I'll go. I don't give a shit.
Just thinking about the person who got 4th in Chicago.
Wait, why? What happened there?
I mean, when the person who got 2nd doesn't want to go.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You know, brainstorming.
Mm-hmm. Questions about what they should do. What do I do now that I have 2 stun verses instead of 1? Does anybody want to buy my stud versus this?
I only ever had like 2 in the first place, I think, so I'm perfectly fine cutting down to 1.
Yeah, let's see. The meme with the Grim Reaper where he's knocking on doors, where it was the piano.
Yeah, I saw that earlier.
Hope on Damp. More standard crap.
Does standard need any hits? Like Set 7 just came out, so like
I think it's good. I think it's all right for now.
Like people will probably like reactionary mauled about Eva, but like that promo just came out. There was no way.
It just came out, and like again, our general metric is if it's less than 50% of the tops, it's usually okay, depending. But once you start hitting like 50% consistently, especially,
like I don't think anything's gonna hit tier 0 in Vanguard. There's or in standard. Too many things have variants, but also there are just a lot of decks that are good. Like Overlord is getting the promo that makes it really powerful. Like Tempest just came out. Eva has her promo.
Yeah. Gravidia is still around for whatever reason. Because you can just like style on people with the 160 million 8 crit or whatever the fuck.
Good news, the Exterminate Turbo Brigade can be successful.
Dick. All right. I guess that was it for the most part. I didn't. So yeah, thanks everybody for listening to At Nexus at Night. Thanks Darren, Cole, Josh, Jeremy, GR for being $10 patrons. Patreon.com/Nexus at Night. Help support the show. Leave a like, leave a comment. How about the rest of us?
You can find me on Twitter at Wiggum, 2G2Zs.
You can find me at Plasma Eclipse.
Find me at Atlas Novak on Twitter, Instagram, or follow my other podcast at Generation Dan in those same places. That's it's about generational differences, and it's a comedy show. And thanks to everybody for listening. And until the new year, I was Atlas.
I'm Matt.
I'm Root Beer.
And have a good night.